Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Dentistry Media. Our topic for today's discussion is cardiac glycosides. The force of contraction of the heart is called as the inotropic action. It is of two types, that is positive or negative. When the force of contraction of the heart increases, it is called as positive inotropic action, and when it decreases, it is called as a negative inotropic action. The cardiac glycosides, they enhance the cardiac muscle contractility. Therefore, they have cardiac inotropic property. The compounds in this group includes digoxin and digitoxin, and these are the only inotropic drug which can be given orally also. And these increase the contractility of the heart muscle, but they do not increase the heart rate and the oxygen consumption unlike other inotropes. Most of the drugs, they come from the plant Digitalis lanata. Therefore, they are called as Digitalis or Digitalis glycosides. And the most widely used cardiac glycoside is digoxin. The force of contraction of the cardiac muscle is directly related to the concentration of the free calcium ion which is present in the cytosol. The inotropic agents are such compounds which alter the mechanism that control the concentration of intracellular calcium. Let us see the mechanism of action. This digitalis in congestive heart failure, it inhibits the sodium potassium ATPase, which in turn causes increased concentration of sodium ions inside the cells. This sodium potassium ATPase maintains the concentration gradient within the cell. That is, it maintains a low concentration of sodium ions inside the cell by removing 3 sodium ions and replacing it by 2 potassium ions. Whenever it is inhibited by digitalis, the sodium ion concentration increases, which in turn causes the inhibition of the sodium calcium exchange transporter. If you see, this sodium calcium exchange transporter is an antiporter and its mechanism depends on the concentration of the sodium ions. Therefore, when the concentration of sodium ion increases, it fails to remove the excess calcium ions. This in turn leads to increased concentration of calcium ion within the cell. These calcium ions are usually stored in the sarcoplasmic reticulum. And during an action potential, the calcium ions, it enters the cell through the voltage sensitive calcium channel, which in turn stimulates the sarcoplasmic reticulum to release higher amount of calcium ions, which is required for the muscle contraction, and there will be increased muscle contractility. The cardiac glycosides, by their positive inotropic action, they improve the force of contraction of the heart. These in turn decreases the end diastolic volume, which improves the ejection fraction. That is, it increases the efficiency of contraction. Also, the cardiac output is improved, which closely resembles that of a normal heart, which in turn improves the circulation, and it also enhances the withdrawal of the sympathetic activity, which decreases the peripheral resistance. All this in turn causes a reduction in the heart rate. Also, these cardiac glycosides, they have a vagomimetic activity which also enhances the reduction in the heart rate. And these cardiac glycosides, they also diminish the oxygen requirement of the cardiac muscle. Their action on the kidney includes it promotes diuresis. Cardiac glycosides are used in the management of left ventricular systolic dysfunction, but they provide only symptomatic effect and they are not indicated in diastolic or right-sided heart failure patients. They have a low margin of safety and they do not alter the basic pathology. Therefore, they are unable to decrease the mortality rate. In mild to moderate cases of heart failure, they respond better with ACE inhibitors and diuretics, and such patients do not require digoxin. Therefore, cardiac glycosides are majorly indicated in cases with left ventricular systolic dysfunction associated with atrial fibrillation. In atrial fibrillation, the atrium beats at a very high rate, that is 500 beats per minute, and at such high rate, the contractions become ineffective. This is not of very much disadvantage in case of atrium because it has to give the blood only to the ventricles. But if all the contractions are passed to the ventricles, the cardiac output will decrease because the ventricular contractions will be ineffective due to this high rate. Therefore, the aim of treatment in atrial fibrillation is to maintain the ventricular rate at a lower level. Digitalis does so by its vagomimetic effect, that is, it decreases the number of impulses that pass down the AV node and bundle of S. Thereby, it reduces the ventricular rate. But remember, it is not capable of curing atrial fibrillation. Therefore, it is a drug of choice for controlling ventricular rate and atrial fibrillation associated with congestive heart failure. The mechanism of action of digoxin and digitoxin are almost similar. They differ with respect to their pharmacokinetics. The route of administration of digitoxin is through oral route, and for digoxin it can be given through oral or intravenous route. But digitoxin is better absorbed through the oral route. The plasma half-life of digitoxin is for 5 to 7 days and it is 40 hours for digoxin. The duration of action of digitoxin lasts for 2 to 3 weeks and it is 2 to 6 days for digoxin. The method of elimination for digitoxin is through hepatic metabolism and through renal excretion by glomerular filtration for digoxin. For the maintenance dose, if you see these cardiac glycosides, they are cumulative drugs. Therefore, they take approximately 4 weeks with respect to digitoxin to maintain a steady level for therapeutic effect, whereas it takes only 6 to 7 days for digoxin. These are related to the toxicity. In case of toxicity, the discontinuation of the drug produces rapid disappearance of the manifestation with respect to digoxin, but it may take weeks with respect to digitoxin. Therefore, digitoxin is used for maintenance therapy and digoxin can be used for emergency or routine treatment. If you see, the toxic effects of digitoxin is persistent, and also if you want any intermediate dose adjustment, it is possible with digoxin, but it may take weeks for digitoxin. Therefore, digoxin is more commonly used and for all purpose. Now let us see the adverse effects. With the increase in the dose, the earliest appearing adverse effect is that of the gastrointestinal tract, that is anorexia, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain. These are first reported due to the gastric irritation and stimulation of the chemoreceptor trigger zone. With a further increase in the dose, CNS effects are precipitated that includes headache, fatigue, malaise, confusion, visual disturbances, psychosis, hyperapnea and disorientation. With a further increase in the dose, cardiac effects are precipitated that includes almost all types of arrhythmia. In about 2/3 patients showing toxicity, the GI tract and the CNS symptoms precede the cardiac symptoms, and in the rest, cardiac arrhythmias are the first manifestation. As cardiac glycosides have low margin of safety, these patients needs to be monitored. Mild toxicity can be managed by giving potassium supplements, but remember, potassium is contraindicated in severe digitalis toxicity. For ventricular arrhythmias, dignocaine is a drug of choice. For supraventricular arrhythmias, beta blockers like propranolol can be prescribed. For bradycardia and AV block, atropine is preferred. For severe toxicity, digoxin antibody, that is digibind or Fab fragments of digitalis are prescribed. Cardiac glycosides are contraindicated in ventricular tachycardia because it may precipitate ventricular fibrillation. In partial AV block, it may convert it to complete AV block. Patients with renal, severe hepatic disease and elders, they are more sensitive to cardiac glycosides and they also decrease the conduction through the AV node in Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. Patients with conditions like thyrotoxicosis, acute myocarditis and myocardial infarction along with digitalis, they are more prone to arrhythmias. Only in cases of myocardial infarction associated with heart failure and atrial fibrillation, cardiac glycosides are indicated. In myxedema, the elimination of digoxin is slow, therefore there are chances of cumulative toxicity. In hypokalemia, it enhances the digitalis toxicity by increasing its binding to the sodium-potassium ATPase. The cardiac glycosides, they cause electrolyte disturbances by interacting with thiazide diuretics, loop diuretics and corticosteroids. These causes decreased level of blood potassium. Concurrent therapy with drugs like erythromycin, omeprazole, tetracycline, quinidine, verapamil, captopril, amiodarone, diltiazem and tricyclic antidepressants increases the plasma concentration of digitalis. The conditions like hypercalcemia, hypomagnesemia, hypothyroidism, renal failure and hypoxia, they predispose to digoxin toxicity. Patients on medications like metoclopramide, sucralfate, antacids, neomycin and sulfalazaline, they decrease the absorption of digitalis. And also drugs like succinylcholine and adrenergic drugs, they induce arrhythmia. Therefore, whenever a patient on digitalis comes for extraction, consider using plain lignocaine than using lignocaine with adrenaline. The drugs like propranolol, verapamil, disopyramide, they oppose the positive inotropic action of digitalis. Phenobarbital and enzyme inducers, they expedite the metabolism of digitoxin, but they have no effect on digoxin. Few important takeaways. The biochemical mechanism of action of digitalis is through increase in the cytosolic intracellular calcium level. Positive inotropic effect of digitalis is achieved by the inhibition of sodium-potassium ATPase pump in the cardiac muscle, which in turn decreases the activity of sodium-calcium exchanger. Digoxin provides only symptomatic relief in congestive heart failure. And the major indication is for left ventricular systolic dysfunction with atrial fibrillation. The most characteristic arrhythmia which is seen in digitalis toxicity is non-paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia. And these drugs, they have a low margin of safety and the therapeutic index is 1.5 to 3.